This week in class, I learned the importance of purple glue sticks, routine slides, and yours place in line. All right, so this week was a good week, right? Now, what was funny, so one thing I picked up last week was having, so, of course, you're supposed to have a morning routine, and what works well for these children, and they've kind of learned this already, and that's one thing I got to remember. If I build on what they know already, they know how to move with that, right? So if you give them a routine, they're great. They know what they have to do every morning. They just start doing it. Yeah, some kids may drop the ball every blue moon, but for the most part, they're like, oh, this is what I do every morning? Great, I know. So I told them, and then I created a routine slide. It has pictures on it. It tells them what to do, but it also has pictures. And then I reinforce it. I'm like, hey, when you come in, remember, do this, 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 and this. And it was great because, I noticed, as I got further into the week, the kids would just come in, they unload their book bags, they sharpen their pencils, they go to the bathroom, and they're doing these things without me telling them. And, as a teacher, just to save your sanity and honestly, just your voice, you have to find a way to not have to tell them things over and over. So there are some things you're going to have to say. You're going to have to tell kids to stop talking. It is what it is. But routine things that they can kind of figure out on their own, if you can set up a system so that they know, okay, every morning when I come in, I know that this is the expectation, then those are some things that you no longer have to say because, you kind of build it in and they know it. So, but Monday was actually a good day. It went really smoothly. And I was so tired. I was surprised because I'm like, well, if I did everything right, why was I everything right? That's relative, right? But if I did things so well and everything went so smoothly, why was I so tired? And I mean, if you think about it, for the most part, until you lock in a routine, things going smoothly probably has a lot to do with you and, how much you're really kind of have your hands on the kids, so to speak. And that can be tiring. So I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So as I build a lot of these other systems that they fall into, then there's a lot of work that I don't have to do because the kids kind of do the work and it kind of happens automatically. Yeah. And so at first I had just a good morning routine slide and we do small group stuff, a lot of small group stuff. So I created a slide for that. And then I created a goodbye slide. And what's weird about the end of the day is if I'm just moving, the other day I was in math and I was doing a review for them and I really just lost track of time. And I was like, oh no, we got to get ready to go. And then I had them saying, aren't we supposed to wipe our desk? Because that's the routine and they know it. So that's great. So it's like, not only do I have to create this routine, but I got to stay on track because the kids have an expectation of how the day is supposed to go, nothing to do with teaching, just the paycheck. So my benefits did not start immediately. They started like a month later. So my paycheck was a little different. I don't know if anybody's ever done that. I've had jobs where benefits start on day one. So you never feel it, you never notice. But if you have a job where you get benefits later, yeah. So I definitely got to use my stuff because I don't want to say ouch, right? Because I'm glad I got them, but that was surprising. Staff meetings. Listen, being a teacher is tiring. It's an all day go type deal, especially when you're at the younger grades. And as a first year teacher, still getting my routine together, it can be so tiring. But I'm only tired when I get home. I am not tired at school because I'm just going. But when I have a faculty meeting, that is rough. Staff meetings are almost ambient. And I feel bad because I'm an adult. Everybody's an adult. I'm supposed to fall asleep in a meeting. I don't know how these other people are doing it, but woo! But I think I even had to move my bedtime up. My bedtime used to be a really hard 11 o'clock, and now I'm trying to be in my room by like 9:45, 9:50, because I'm like I got to be able to stay up throughout the whole day, not just at school, but it's like I work, I'm at school, and it's like, hey, I need you to sit down and do nothing for an hour. That's rough. Also, so now my kids are in school, they've had school supplies. And I think because I never really liked school projects, I didn't work with them on a lot of things. Like if they were doing homework, I would help them with that, but I didn't help them like build and make things. And I noticed the other day, so, most glue sticks, or a lot of glue sticks, not most, somebody makes purple glue sticks, right? I thought they just made it. Who cares? And I'm using it to do something the other day, and I was like, oh, the glue stick is purple, so I can see it when I apply it on the paper. Normally, most glue sticks I've seen before, I've noticed this one, are white. So you put it on the paper, and depending on the lighting or what's going on in the room, you kind of like, well, where did I put the glue? But when the glue stick is purple, you can see where you put the glue. So I don't know who did that, but that person deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, right? So one of the other things that I do is acting, right? And in acting, it's said, in order for you to kind of understand your point of view or what you're trying to accomplish, the idea is that everything is urgent, right? So if you have a scene with 4 different people, they're all fighting for their point of view, and what they want is extremely urgent in the moment. Nothing is calm or casual. Even if it looks like that to you, the viewer, even in my calmness, there's an urgency. I need to get this thing done, right? And it's funny. I see that same idea played out in class. So I'm trying to teach a class, right? The children need, quote unquote, something. So there's a lot of Mr. Allen, hands down. No. But what they need is important and urgent to them, which comes into conflict with what I need as a teacher that I feel is urgent to teach them the class. And at the same time, somebody at the office has something that is urgent to them. So pardon the interruption, Mr. Allen. It's like, so it's an interesting dynamic where everybody needs their stuff. One thing is attendance has to be taken. And I believe attendance is a function of not just knowing who's in the class, but I think that's something that needs to be known higher up in different places. So it's important for my office to get the attendance from me, because I believe they got to send it somewhere else, and they like it by 9:20. But sometimes the way the morning flows, it's like boom, boom, boom. Like I think I told you last week, we try to do bell to bell instruction. So we're moving from the moment we get in. Depending on how the day goes, there's not always a lot of time where everybody just sits and does nothing. And then when you're in elementary school, they need a little bit more attention. So because they need more attention, I'm focusing on them, and I get past that 9:15 mark, so then I'm in the middle of teaching. Pardon the interruption. I just had to send 2 kids to the bathroom because they were bouncing around, and I'm trying to move. It's something. But again, if you learn to organize, if I learn how to organize things a certain way, then I'm not pushed. I have less urgency. So even though other people have urgency, I'm not kind of plagued with that. So it's easier for me to manage others' urgency because I no longer have to manage my own, you know. So here's a trick I learned. So I had something come up and I had to leave campus like right after. Normally I stay and I do work, but I had to leave right when it was time to go. Well, when it's time to go, that's dismissal time. A bunch of parents are in their cars and they're trying to leave. And normally I drive and I just park in the morning, right? There's nobody there. But when I tried to leave at, what was it, like 2:05 or something, I'm trying to back out, but everybody else is there. So one, I already always park in the shade, which is great, right? So even though the car is sitting out there all day, it's not so hot when I get in. So now I always back in. So if I ever need to get out at dismissal time, then it's a little bit easier to kind of jump out if somebody's not paying attention, you know, because most of the parents are going to be getting in line to get out. They're not actually just going straight out. So I can get into the line that will really just leave a little bit faster. So it's easier for me to get out, you know. And last but not least, kind of my little spiritual or philosophical piece. So one thing I did with the kids was, because what you'll notice is a lot of times children will fight to get to the front of the line. It doesn't matter that we're all going to the same place. They want to be in the front of the line. Well, I've put the kids in the front of the line or in front of somebody else, right? So I put the kids in number order, right? So they got an order. Everybody knows their number. So when you line up by number order. And that's that, you know. And I was looking, I think I saw two kids kind of arguing and somebody was trying to get in front of the other one. I'm like, no, you have your spot. So you don't need to jump in front of anyone because you have your spot. So you're going to get to where you need to go, period, because your spot is yours and no one can take it, you know. And it just made me think about us and in life. And sometimes we look at other people and where they are and we feel like, man, I should be there. Like it's so silly, but every now and then I'll look at certain, you know, athletes, which I'm not an athlete, so that was never on the table. Or I look at entertainers who may be a year or two younger than me or a year or two older than me, and I'm like, man, why am I not where they are? You know, but that's their spot. You know, I have my spot, and if I keep moving, not only will I get where I'm supposed to go, I've been where I was supposed to been already. You know, where I should have been already. And I think one thing that you will drive yourself insane trying to skip places when you already have a spot that's designated for you. All right. So let me see. Your homework for this week. Let me know. What do you think? And let me know in the comments, what is the coolest school supply that you would say? For me right now, it's the purple glue stick. I'm really feeling the purple glue stick. I like it. What school supply do you like that really catches your attention, right? So remember, if you want to jump in and help out in my classroom, my Amazon wish list link is there. Also, if you want to adopt my classroom, I think I'll talk more about that next week. But if you want to adopt my classroom, send me a DM and I'll give you the information for that. So y'all take care and have a wonderful week.